Hi, I'm Angela. I'm a ranger for the South Downs National Park, and welcome to my virtual walk at Garbetts Wood in Rogate. As you can see, as we come in the site, there's a nice information board, and it says on it, Garbetts Wood is actually owned by the Woodland Trust. As you come in, you've got lots of things you can look at. ID on your way round, so there's some flowers and some insects and some information about the Woodland Trust. Now the entrance and exits here, this one's quite good, you don't have to touch anything. But also one of the issues with here is there's small country lanes either side, so there isn't anywhere to park on the road. They have a few issues with parking in the village, so Woodland Trust encourage people to go by public transport normally, but obviously government guidance at the moment is not to go by public transport, but please resume that when you can. So what I would suggest is parking outside the village and walking in somewhere safe. So also need to be careful, there's no footpaths on the sides of the lanes either, so you need to be careful with that. Now the Woodland Trust own this site, as I said. It's not under open access under the Countryside and Rights of Way Act, but they do allow access onto their sites because one of their main policies is they want people to enjoy and conserve these woodlands and learn more about them. And also Woodland Trust want to preserve the woods and the trees as well. Well, there's quite a few, it's only 2.5 hectares here, but they've packed quite a lot in. We've got a little pond which is in the management plan to be restored. The South Downs volunteers have already made a start on the dead hedging. Before there was a fence that was all dilapidated and fallen down, and this winter the South Downs volunteers took that down and replaced it with some hazel dead hedging. Now this isn't finished, it looks a bit rough and ready at the moment because we're in the middle of doing that, and we had to stop because of COVID-19. However, this will be restored by the end of the year. Woodland Trust bought this site in '97 as part of their Millennium campaign for local woodlands. Used to be part of the garden of the house nearby. We can see a wren, hear a wren singing in the background. So what we'll do is we'll just have a look at some of the things. We'll do a bit of tree ID, have a look round at the habitats. Please ask any questions if you have any. But we'll also have some quiet time so you can listen to the birds and have a bit of tranquility as well. We've got trees like hazel here. Now this hasn't been coppiced for a long time, but you can see the multi-stem on it means that the main trunk has been cut at some stage and then more stems grow back, and that's what we call coppicing. See that loud wren? Now wren's got one of the loudest voices for its size. That's a hazel leaf. The bark of the hazel. I'll show you in a second, we'll have coppiced some of the hazel here. Another thing the South Downs volunteers did. And what that does is, although it helps the tree live longer, and originally it was for take produce for things like fencing and stakes and binders for hedging and things like that. But by doing it, it does help biodiversity, and it allows more light in, and you get more species growing through. And if you have a good rotation of coppice, then you can support those species all the way through when the cut wood and trees grow up. This is one that's been coppiced this winter. That's one of the stalls, and that will grow back lots of, you can see it happening now actually. All this is growing back lots of new shoots coming through. There's a new shoot of hazel there. And we've got all this understory coming through now. This is lesser celandine. You can see there's lots of it on here. And this would have been a nice carpet of yellow in the spring. So they're in the seed bank, so once it's got the light that it needs, then it will all grow back. Now we've got this meadow here. You might not expect to see a meadow in a Woodland Trust site, but they like to have good biodiversity on their site, and it helps to create what we call a mosaic of habitats which support a lot of different species. Although there's not a huge amount of plant species on this meadow at the moment, a few years ago it was all mainly nettles, and by cutting it at the end of the summer, once all the plants are set seed, and taking it off, removing it, the cuttings, that removes some of the nutrients and allows the wildflowers to come through, because wildflowers prefer nutrient poor soil, and the plants like the nettles, they like nutrient rich soil. So that's why we've got rid of some of the nettles, or most of the nettles. It's good to have some nettles though. You can see on the edge they've been left. They support lots of insect species as well. Things like the peacock butterfly, larvae, things like that. So it's good to have that, like I was talking about, the mosaic of habitats. You don't want any one thing. There's a big ash tree. Now you may have heard of problems in this country with ash dieback, and throughout Europe. As the spread couldn't be contained, the advice now from Forestry England is to remove them if they are in public sites or somewhere where it could cause damage to the public. So the Woodland Trust do surveys and have a plan to take them out if the survey proves that they are dead and diseased, or just diseased. The problem is with ash dieback is it allows fungus in, like honey fungus, which affects the inside of the tree, so you can't really see on the outside. And once that kills the inside of the tree, then the tree just falls over without any warning, so it can be quite dangerous. It doesn't even have to be windy. Okay, this is a great tree. This is a lime. I'll show you the leaf to begin with. There's the leaf, and these are the flowers. These are the pods, these ones from the flowers. And it smells amazing when it's first out. Here we come up these steps, and you may be able to see in the distance, Harting Down. So lovely view over to the downlands. Oh, someone likes that. There's a heart and a thumbs up. We'll see a better view in a moment. And there's a bench at the top here. I'm not going to sit down. But here you can see another tree species we've got. Sycamore. Now sycamore seeds prolifically, and some woodland owners really don't like it because of that reason. Some woodland owners like it because the squirrels prefer it, apparently, and they prefer to eat the bark of that and kill that rather than maybe some of the other trees that are in it. However, too much of it isn't great, so because it seeds so readily, I have to try and cut some of it back. Otherwise we'll just have a carpet of sycamore. Okay, more views. That's a lovely view over to the downs. Oh, someone's asked, sorry I can't see your name, is a lime hawk moth anything to do with the lime tree or just a coincidence? No, you can find, if you're lucky, because they're very well concealed, they do like to sit on the bark of lime hawk moth. So it's not just a coincidence. Well, thank you, Mary, for your comment. There's your bench. This is an area that the National Park volunteers cleared with some of the small sycamore regrowth. It allows the trees out here to be more healthy as well, not have such competition. So you can see here oak here and ash here. But also, as said before, they would shade out the understory. And so now we're allowing more ground flora species to grow because it will allow some more light in. We may not see it this year, but maybe next year. Here's another entrance onto the site. Another place you don't have to touch coming in if you're worried. You'll be able to see the steps going down. You have to be careful, as you can see the road's quite close. And there's no path. beside the road either. We've got another nice welcome board with more species to look at. So there's some bird species. See something like the tree creeper and the nuthatch and quite a few others. You need to sort of sit quite still. Tree creeper in particular likes oak trees. They like to nest in little crevices in the oak tree, but they have to watch out for birds like the jay, who might steal their eggs, and then some more insect species to look out for: dragonflies, bumblebees. If you'd like to know some more information about access to the site, please go to the Woodland Trust website, and about the management. They've got information about what management they're doing there and why. Another tree species we've got here, horse chestnut. You can tell this one by this formation of leaves is called palmate. You can see it looks like a hand, and the bark, that's not the bark, is very smooth here, unlike the lime, which has a few lines on it. And we'll find an oak in a minute as an ash. Different colours as well barks have on different trees. What's the nearest town to Garbetts Wood? It's Rogate, but unfortunately there's limited parking there, and there is a lot of problems with traffic problems in Rogate. So I would advise parking in another village or outside of the village and walking in. Thank you, Jane, for your comment. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and thank you, Stephen. Hope you are well too. Nice to see you with us. There's a few birds singing. I don't think you can hear it over the aeroplane going ahead, but we'll stop in a minute and have a little listen. So we've got here, I promised you, an oak bark, so you can see how fissured this oak is, and sometimes you get cracks like these happening, and when they open up, not this low but higher up, this is the sort of place you get the nuthatch, the tree creeper in, and maybe a nuthatch. Got other flowers coming through here. Typical, you might see. This is quite common. This is Herb Robert. Nice pink flower. Mostly seen probably, well, it's quite common, so you'll see it on woodland edges and hedges, hedgerows and things like that. Right. That loud voice is the song thrush. You'll hear its repeating sound. And you hear it repeats a phrase and then moves on to the next one. I say earlier, Woodland Trust allow access onto their sites because they want people to value trees and learn more about the trees and enjoy woodlands, which are good for physical and mental health. Oh, that was a blackbird alarm call. There it went. Still hear the song thrush. Another blackbird. Right, let's have a look down here. There's a few little places to explore, but we'll have a quick explore down here. You can see all these little, I don't know if you can see all the little witty trees here. Moving too fast. These are all sycamore, and that's what it was like up the top, and you can see how much darker it is here compared to up there where it's been cleared. And if we clear these at some stage, then it will let more light in. Although we don't want to get rid of them altogether. We'll go back up to the main path. I'll move round. There's a good example there of some standing deadwood. This old tree, if you can see it, it's pointing into the sunshine, so it's not ideal. And standing deadwood is far more beneficial to insects and therefore birds and other species than the wood laying on the ground, although that does benefit other species as well. So if it can be left and it's not dangerous, it is preferable. Okay, let's stop here for a bit. We're back at the pond. Great place for birds. They seem to love it here, and once it's restored, it will be even better for biodiversity. And wildlife always goes to where there's water. see what we can hear, apart from the car. I can't hear anything at the moment. Blackbird alarm call. Might be able to see a few meadow brown butterflies. Oh, there's a fritillary. And if you saw, it's bright orange. There we go. Gone. Couldn't see which one it was. Okay, well, we've come to the end now. We're back where we started. Just to remind you, we've been at Garbetts Wood. Some of you may have watched my last one, where I had Harry, my dog, with me. Unfortunately, it's a bit hot today for him, so I haven't brought him today. But if you do bring a dog, please remember to pick up after your dog. They are welcome on site, but pick up after your dog, because not only is it unpleasant for other people, it also adds those nutrients that I was talking about afterwards. And then the wildflowers don't grow, and we'll get more nettles and brambles and not the type of plants that we want. You can buy something called a dicky bag to put the dog mess in to carry it home, which means there's no smell. Yeah, please take it away with you. And I hope you've enjoyed this walk. Hugs for Harry. Thank you, Mary. I'll bring Harry on the next one if he's not too hot. So I'll just say thank you very much. We'll be doing some more, so keep a lookout. Go to the Woodland Trust website, have a look at our website as well, and see how you can enjoy more of the South Downs National Park. Thank you.